Hello, I'm Mike and Neil Updice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. We are around Gilly, the satellite of Eve, and I'm doing various scans. But I have an issue where the contract I'm trying to get insists on me having an inclination between 72.3 and 72.7 degrees in order to claim the contract. It's actually a bit of a pain. So I've got like 86% scan, but there is a thing where in fact I am slightly, the way the orbit is crossing is going to be slightly slower to get the remaining chunk because it's you know, it's the next orbit is so close to the previous orbit that it's only scanning a little tiny bit. So my previous objection to doing this kind of maneuver, which is that I might as well get the whole thing, is somewhat lessened. So I'm doing a maneuver to that is, I'm going the exact opposite way. That is aggravating as all get out. But I don't need that much delta V, so that's fine. Right. Well, this very specific amount of inclination that I'm needing. It's actually within a degree. So I'm just going to give myself that inclination. 72.3 basically. And I'll fix my, you know, my apoapsis and periapsis and eccentricity afterwards. So that's going to be easy to do once I've got the inclination that it's insisting that it wants. So basically very soon now. So 72.7 is what I'm aiming to get under. So you get 72 point. Right, now I've got the eccentricity that it wants. Now all I need to do is fix those other bits of the orbit. Add maneuver. Don't need that right now. We'll go to Apo. And my periapsis is not that far off actually. My periapsis want to be 12.5. So that's going to be within, so that's fine. It's such a, yeah, I have to do ridiculously delicate maneuvers to do this. 11.106. So yeah. So we'll just add that in. And I've got the problem that I can't actually go any faster than 50 times. It's a bit of a pain actually. So I'm going to bring up the big map here. So the problem is these here. These are when am I going to cross the equator? You want them fairly evenly distributed. So these are actually very clumped together, which is actually mostly not what I want. Except for the fact that these are obviously going to be going straight through these areas which I haven't explored yet. So that's actually going to be okay. And also it's going to change radically once I get to here and I make that change. So this is going to be a very light touch on the old throttle. And really I'm probably going to be completely ignoring the maneuver and just going until I get my apoapsis under my periapsis under 12.5 K, and see if I can't get this stupid fiddly maneuver done. And I'm not quite sure what else I would need to do in order to get the contract. I'm still wondering, vessel hurts one. Do I need to change that? Does this not count as a new thing? I'm fairly sure I launched it after I got the mission, so it should count, but it's not coming up, and I don't know why. Vessel. Is this even going to count? Simply because it somehow isn't counting as a new vessel. Maybe it's because I didn't call it Hertz 1 when it took off, which would be somewhat aggravating if that was the case. To be perfectly honest, if that turns out to be the case, if it's simply, once I've got absolutely everything and I've got the right orbit and I've got everything else, and it's still not giving, if it's still not giving it to me, then I rather suspect I'm just going to say, sod it, I'm going to go into the cheat menu and award myself this contract, because I believe I have done the correct amount of work to get this. I've fulfilled what I believe to be the spirit of this contract. But we'll see, I guess. Right, so we're closing in. So once I've done that, I'm going to have to go down to my peri and bring my apoapsis down to the correct amount. Hopefully once I've got this, I'll get some other contracts for other planets to do, and they won't be quite so fiddly. Right, how are we getting on? Right, so allegedly 20 minutes, so that's at times 50 is some number, about 30 seconds, I guess. So I'm going to want to spend some time pointing in the right direction, and then just tiny amounts of oomph. In fact, my periapsis is correct already. I don't think there's any pointing there. Yeah, let's bring my apo down to where it needs to be. I don't know why I thought my peri was wrong. There's quite clearly a green tick in my peri. So, unfortunately, that's another big long wait to do negative 1.7 meters a second. So aggravating. What shall we talk about? That's going to be about another minute. This is such a fiddly contract. I wonder if all of them are going to be this fiddly. Yeah, so once I get the apoapsis in the right place, the eccentricity should be in the right place, and then I've got the orbit, and maybe that will then count as getting the vessel. I might rename it before I do that. I just want to see if the naming changes. So I think I'll put it back to just call it Gilly radar. In fact, why don't I just do that now? Won't take more than a tick. So call that Gilly scan radar, which is what it was before. And speed up again. So this way, I mean, it's the way that the orbits, it's got its own little sub things. I was wondering whether vessel Hertz 1 new counts as that. I don't know. Yeah, whether if I get the orbit, do I then get that? Is the question. And then then if I don't get it, I'm going to try changing it and then, quite frankly, if I don't get it, then I'm just going to go into the cheat menu and make it happen, because I feel that I have in fact achieved the correct orbit. So there, and done all the things that I've been asked to do. And how dare the game be so annoying? Yeah, I mean, this is the ScanSat contracts. It's not the stock game contracts. So these are the contracts that come as a separate pack. So maybe those are the things I'm complaining about being finicky. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the way I would do these contracts, I wouldn't suggest an orbit at all, or I certainly wouldn't make it a make or break. You know, there's nothing wrong with having a suggested orbit, but basically what it is it's getting a percentage scan. I think that's what should be the key here. That's what should make it succeed or fail. Is did you get the whole? Did you get this much scanning done? Oop, before I do anything, work myself in maneuverwards. Basically retrograde. Then zoom ahead to about 5 minutes. 5 minutes? 5 seconds. And because it's 0.6 seconds, I'm just going to do it entirely on the throttle plus and minus, as opposed to okie dokie. Just be cautious. Right, aha! Altimetry optional. Take an additional bit and grab some data from Gilly complete. The renaming is not the important thing. There you go. Let's bring up the big map and just see what my... Yeah, so those tech marks seem to be pretty okay. I think I'm just gonna... It's gonna take a little while, I think, to just get all the scanning. So hurrah! I succeeded. I got that contract. I'll be nibbling away at these empty areas. So for example, I might be like clipping a little bit of that. I'll come down and maybe clip that, but when I come back, say down here, I'm gonna take a big swathe out of that unknown area, or I did take a big swathe out of that big unknown area. No, I'll be coming up this way, and then I think, yeah, it's going to take a little while, just because of where the orbit is. Well, now that I've got that contract, I can just fiddle around with this, because it now does not matter. I can also just leave it. So there you go. I'm going to turn off the overlay for now. So now, switch back to Eve. Oh, wait, now, switch back to Eve. Now the thing to do is to untoggle. Grab this. In fact, don't set it as target. Switch to it. Now I've got the optional bit. Now I want to start doing the Eve bit. Ooh, that's low. So that's, I can do a probe report from. Ooh, sweet. 7 science. We'll transmit that. Just make sure we're pointed towards the sun for the moment. There we go. So, excellent. So that went really well. So that tells me a few things. Now, how much delta V I've got? 600 delta. That should be enough. So what I think I'm going to do. That's weird. Duration 0540. Right. So I've got optional. I've got the additional decimal. That's done. Hurrah! So now. It wants me to get into that orbit. What's the inclination? So there's a very specific inclination to get into. Now, questions. Do I want to where's E? There's E. Do I want to get into the orbit and then start doing the scan, or do the scan and then do the orbit and then get the orbit right? That is an interesting question. Right, so what I would need to do is put a maneuver, put it on the descending node, yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll get myself into the correct inclination. I think I'll go for the orbit. So my current inclination, it's very close actually. I'm slightly ahead of what I need to be. I'm very close to being the right amount of having the right amount of inclination. Just trying to work out which way I want to go. I want to go that way. Obviously I can adjust it when I get there, or even just completely ignore it. And just, you know, let's go with that. So I might as well get the right inclination. Then, yeah, I'm going to go for the orbit. Because apart from anything else, I'm really quite close. So I might as well. So I just want to keep. I'm going to be keeping an eye on my inclination as I get closer and closer. Really, just looking at 87.5 and 88.5. So really, I just want to get that tiniest amount. And then I can just bring up my my apoapsis, my periapsis. So do. Right, that's my inclination done. Get rid of that. So. Right, what's my apo? Let's put it on the peri. I want my apoapsis to be between 452 and 458. That's very specific. Well, that's quite a lot actually. Ooh. I'm going to have about enough to do this. Right, so I'm going to have to fiddle with this. Having successfully worked out that I can get this contract this way, there's just going to be orbital futzing about, so I'm going to call it there. Well, I'm just going to get back and see whether or not I can in fact get all these maneuvers, but you don't want to watch me just sitting here watching the thing go around. I'll be back in just right. According to my readout there, I now have the correct orbit. All the things vanish as soon as I got the correct orbit. So achieved an orbit with the following parameters, done. I just have to keep here for like 5 more minutes, or 5 hours I think. I was wondering what those had the kind of duration 05:45. I was like, what is that? I thought it might be the mission time, but the mission time was like over 21 days. So, good. 21 days is that all? Oh no, there'll be 21 days since it left the mission head basket. Okay, that's what's going on there. So basically what I need to do is get a 50% coverage. Doop big map. Eve, altimetry, yeah, cool. Refresh. So I need to get 50% coverage. Currently at 5.1, but that'll obviously increase. Ooh, look at that! Oh, that's actually quite interesting. Gilly's map was really kind of dull. It looks like Eve's is going to be rather interesting. So once I get that to 50%, that's going to give me that contract. Hurrah! I'll be done. So that does teach me for later ScanSat contracts that the orbit is something I really want to pay attention to. Well, this looks like this is going to be pretty good because you can see how that's coming in. I don't know which way I'm going. I must be going this way. And I'm taking fairly good slices out of Eve, so this should be quite an efficient. And also you can see these things are alternating and they're nicely spread out along the equator, so that should be quite good. So this is teaching me how to do these types of contracts. So all that really remains for me to do is to say thanks so much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos. I didn't realize I could go that fast. Yeah, find Nearly Enough Dice at nearlyenoughdice.com. That's making me dizzy. Let's focus on Eve. There we go. There we go, that's much better. And like and subscribe if you like these videos. Find Nearly Enough Dice at nearlyenoughdice.com. And until next time, reach for the stars.